So why would there be a false guide? This entity pretending to be your guide is trying to derail you. So if you get a false spirit guide and then there's all this stuff, there's so much drama related to it, let's just pull back a minute, okay? It's just your guides teaching you. I used to believe before I was a Reiki practitioner that there was dark Reiki. And so I was like worried about that. But the truth is that just wasn't Reiki. They're just slapping the name Reiki on some dark magic that you don't want to be a part of. Once I learned my spirit guides, that was it. So once I took a trans-channel class and got to know my spirit guides so well, then they helped me do everything from there. Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. Welcome. I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal, and I love to help spiritual entrepreneurs open their psychic senses further and really delve into higher dimensions to trans-channel beings of light, not just for messages, but for healing. That's like my big thing. I love to empower people, to teach you how to do everything that you need to do to expand yourself, to walk in your light path, and also just to be really self-sufficient, to be sovereign. Lightworkers need each other. We do. And I work with lightworkers all the time on my own auric field and chakras and healing and shadow work and things like that. I do. But if push came to shove, I could do it for myself. And that's what I want for you, because sometimes we're all going through it at the same time. And when that happens, then there's really like literally no one can help. It's possible that sometimes that happens, or there's just no one that you can reach at 4 a.m. And you want to be able to do as much for yourself as you can. And I understand that sometimes if you have an entity and your vibration is too low, you cannot clear it yourself. I totally get that. I do rely on other people, but if I had to, I could find a way to do it because I know how, right? Sometimes it's easier and better to get an outside person to clear you, to make sure you're cleared. And many times I've cleared myself like 90% and then still needed a light worker to help me with that last bit. Okay, so it's really important that we come to each other, that we help each other, all of that. Okay, so today is about false spirit guides. And I want to talk about this not to scare you. Gosh, I just hate it. Like the kind of fear that goes out there about ascension. I want you to know that there is nothing to be afraid of. Knowing your spirit guides is the most important thing you can do for yourself. They will help you every step of the way. This is how I built my whole business as a completely broke person. Which is what I was, totally broke. And I did my classes slowly. And once I learned my spirit guides, that was it. So once I took a trans-channel class and got to know my spirit guides so well, then they helped me do everything from there. I offer my programs in big chunks for people who can afford it, who want to just go for it, or who can find a way to afford it, to just go for it in 1 year, become totally master, professional, and confident in what they do. I have a whole system. I work a full methodology, which keeps you very safe and helps you with each step, because I understand how each step changes things and how there are things that you go through. That's why my classes aren't a weekend or 3 or 4 weeks. Sometimes people go, oh no, I just can't. 6 months, no. But you know what? You take that weekend class or that 4-week class, and then when all these things happen, you have no support. That's why my classes are longer. They have support. It is important to have that support, because you will come to a place where you're saying, I'm making it up, or maybe this is all bullshit or something like that. Or you get a false spirit guide or something like that, and it can throw you off. We are lights, and the dark does not want to see us helping other people go to ascension. And it's not that scary, because the truth is we are super powerful. Do not believe that the dark is more powerful than the light. That is a program of Hollywood and other dark systems. Why would there be a false spirit guide? What is a false spirit guide? Why would you get that? What is the deal? Here it is. Sometimes your spirit guide is not a spirit guide. It's a fake spirit guide. And that doesn't mean that your spirit guide really isn't Jesus or whoever came in for you, Mary Magdalene, Gaia, Archangel Ariel, somebody named Sarah. It doesn't mean that's not your real spirit guide. It means that at least one time it wasn't. So I can do a class and we can find out who our spirit guides are. And in my class, of course, I'm checking, and I have a million boundaries of light that keep you safe. So then you get the name of the spirit guide. Let's just say as an example. And then later later you get a false spirit guide, and it's the same name, but it's not quite the same. And suddenly that can really throw people off. And so that's why I'm talking about it. So why would there be a false guide? This entity pretending to be your guide is trying to derail you. And that's like the most obvious thing. First of all, how would you know? You might feel that they feel different. And it's happened to me before. I've even gone to trance my regular spirit guide, and suddenly I was like, this is not right. This can't be right. This can't be right what he's saying. This is not right. And of course I cleared and everything. This happened to me. And it was like my protector guide, who I know very well. And that's the thing. You get to know your spirit guides very well. Or even if you don't know them that well, you get to know them in a deeper way. You will recognize it's not them. Here's some signs that it's happening. Like they might say inappropriate things. Like they might start talking to you about something like that they love you romantically. They could be talking to you like in a romantic or a sexual way. They could be trying to bring you to some twin flame or some trying to make you obsessed about something, like repeating something over and over. Your spirit guides never do that. That's not normal. Your spirit guides give you a hint and they want you to figure it out, and they point you to a direction, and they're not after you to find your romantic flame, twin flame, whatever. That's not ever it. So if you have a spirit guide who's just obsessed with one thing, it feels like they're always telling you, forget it. The only thing my spirit guides like repeat to me a lot is that I need to write a book and I need to finish that book. They don't tell me that every day. It's not every moment of every day that they're like, have you written the book yet? It's I check in and I ask, and they're like, oh, you really need to write the book. When you write the book, that will fix that problem. Things like that. Or it could be sometime a week, and they might say, hey, maybe you should write a book. It's gentle. They aren't after me. They aren't yelling at me. Okay. If your spirit guides are saying anything to you that makes you feel bad at all, they are not your spirit guide. Your spirit guides aren't berating you. They aren't calling you out. They aren't being rude. They aren't telling you you're wrong, you're bad. They might just be like, oh, we wanted you to learn a lesson, and here you go. Now you're understanding. So that's how it goes with spirit guides. They don't say mean things. They don't tear you down. They're not mad at you. They don't say they're in love with you. They don't say they're your husband. They don't encourage anything sexual. They're not obsessed with other people. They don't give a shit about the twin flame, because that's mostly not true anyway. Twin flame is a person who's going to teach you a lot about your shadow work in this life, most likely 99% of the time. And so anyone who's like pushing you toward a twin flame probably makes money off that. And I would really avoid that. That's my personal opinion. There is sometimes, there could be, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but I just don't think that's the most important thing. You're supposed to be working on yourself. When you work on yourself and what you're doing in this life, and that elevates your vibration so that your vibration can meet your soulmate of this life. That's going to bring your vibration to your soulmate, or you and your soulmate grow together. And that's how it works. It's not all about love. As much as we love romance novels and TV shows, and I love romance novels, I read them all the time. All right, let me know that you're here. So why would your spirit guides let you have a false guide? Why would they let bad things happen to you? Why do they let this kind of stuff happen? It's because you really need to learn these sort of things. So here you are, and you're learning and you're growing and you're taking classes and you're getting better and you're experiencing, and you want to get to here. However, if you get to here, then you need to be able to handle this. And you're down here. If you need to handle this, then they're going to put you through these things, bring you here so that you can handle the next step. And that's basically why you get a false spirit guide, because they need you to understand that you have discernment. They need to test you in small ways before big ways. They need to really test you. It's a test, right? We have lots of stories of people getting tested on the Bible, Jesus in the desert, etc. Other ways, I'm sure. It is important that we understand how powerful we are, and our guides want to show you. So if you had a false spirit guide and it scared you away and you thought, I'm not doing this anymore, then you've given in. So now you need to rally, maybe get a clearing, get a healing, see where you're at, get some help from another mentor or light worker who can help you and boost you so that you can get back on track. That's a great thing for light workers to do. And I see all your comments now. Thank you so much. Okay, Kathy says, I've had some repeating thoughts and invasive dreams. Yeah, if you have them, then you know you need to clear. Yeah. Oh, the dreams will teach you that you need a clearing. So being like knowing that you need a clearing and knowing that you have a false spirit guide, these are really times to get help from someone else. If you have an entity and you know how to clear it and you can clear it and you know the reason why, that's usually okay. But even if I clear myself, I still call someone that I trust, usually Gia or Missy, and ask them, am I clear? I had to clear something. It was gross. Am I clear? And why? I'm not going to tell you that I never have to clear myself. That would be crazy. And I don't want you to think that it doesn't happen to everybody. You just recognize it right away. I'm just like, oh, that's not me. Clear. Let's clear that. Let's get into, and I do a whole thing and then I check. And so with a false spirit guide, it's just another level of these sort of things that happen. So what to do? First of all, you need to figure out what happened. Did you not do some correct protection when you were channeling? Did you just have a huge meltdown with your family and you were like yelling and your mood was like, rah, rah. Sometimes things like that can bring your vibe down, which can cause an entity to come in, because this is just another type of entity that's come in, this time just pretending, just really trying to trick you. And there's lots of tricksters out there. There's a lot of entities that pretend to be fae. That's how fae get all that, oh, they're a little too mischievous, or don't mess with the fae, things like that. That's all entities pretending to be fae. There's all kinds of different kinds of entities, and this is just one of them. Did you use a sacred circle? Are you Reiki attuned? If this happens when you're channeling and you really don't know what you're doing, then I really recommend that you at least get my Channeling Basics free class. It's a spirit guide masterclass free bundle, and it's also Channeling Basics, and it's got advanced stuff in there as well. Meditations for beginners or advanced. It's at soundwavesheal.com/spirit guides. And yes, that will reroute you to learn.soundwavesheal.com. That's where all of my media is, all of my videos, my whole tag program, all my programs, my psychic Reiki healing programs, light language programs, trance channeling programs, they're all there. So if this happened while channeling, okay. It can also happen for other reasons, just like I said before, just to teach you something. But you need to know what they're trying to teach you. Most likely they're trying to teach you how to discern this. How does this help you discern what is right, what is light, and what is not? This is like a second layer of discernment that they're teaching you. So they also need you to understand what you believe. Fear and programs. Fear and programs, that's where we're really being tested. Where do you still have fear? And so if you get a false spirit guide and then there's all this stuff, there's so much drama related to it, let's just pull back a minute, okay? It's just your guides teaching you that you still have fear. And remember that programs from Hollywood, that evil's stronger than light, that's actually not true. It's not true. You are way stronger than you think. And this is the most important part of this program that I hope you're listening. You just need to stay firm in your belief that you are sovereign and that you are strong in the light, okay? It is not true that there is nothing you can do and that these entities will get you. Yes, you can make mistakes, but you can fix it. It's so easy to fix. It is so easy to fix. And maybe not everyone has that kind of training, but you can get it. I mean, I train people all the time how to clear dark systems, clear all kinds of things. And it is easy to get someone to clear you if they know what to look for, if they know how to work with this, and they can clear it for you. And then you can start all over. And if you're worried about having how to start over with the spirit guide, then go to a mentor and have a live meditation to meet them again. That's what I would do. Or in a sacred space. So a mentor should put you in a sacred space, especially if they're teaching channeling or something like that, and check and bring through and help you with meditation, help you discern so that you can feel the difference and tell. But you probably do know, if you're more advanced, like many of my students, then you probably do know the difference. We can turn them away. We can ask our guides what to do to start all over again. And we just have to remember that we are really strong. I've heard stories of people clearing, and then, there's all this information coming through, like why this happened. Now, here's a really important thing. If you ever have an entity removed of any kind, including a false spirit guide, you cannot go into the drama of why it happened, because if you do, it's just going to call in more, and that you don't need that. So there's a big learning lesson about not going into the dramatization. If I have something removed, I'm never talking about it again. I learned my lesson, and talking about that is not going forward, and bringing up those old emotions of what that felt can bring it back. And it's the same thing with spirit guides. You got to know, like, it's over, and you can go on with your real spirit guide. You can stay in your sovereign self, knowing that you have the power of light and that it doesn't matter what's happening. You can turn everything away just with your intention. You can bring your vibration up. And vibration is a great way to understand where you're at. You know where you're at if you can just take a moment and sit and feel where your vibration is. If your vibration is not very high, if you don't feel very good, then you're not fully clear, or there's something maybe that you need to look at. Maybe it's, of course, we have shadow work and we can't ignore that. So you just sit and what is it? What's bothering me? I haven't really looked at this shadow work. Okay, work on that shadow work for a moment. I have that free blog post that helps you with shadow work, and it's really important. I really recommend it. It's soundwavesheal.com/shadow work. And this will show you how to work with shadow work really easily. So basically you just sit, what's bothering me? Really, I'm trying not to think about that thing and how I feel about that thing. Okay, so let's think about it for a minute. Okay, I feel bad. I feel terrible. Okay, I accept that I feel terrible, or I feel tricked, or I feel ridiculous. And then I accept that I feel that way. You're just gonna accept it. You're just gonna accept it, because trying to push it away doesn't work, as we all know. So just, okay, that's how I feel. That's okay. And you'll feel it begin to lessen. Okay, now I feel maybe I was tricked. That's okay. But now I feel like maybe I'm just not good enough. Okay, so I accept that I still have more self-worth work to do, or I accept that I feel a little down about that, or I feel like I should have known better. I accept that, right? You just keep doing that. Then you can do things to bring your vibe up. Ho'oponopono, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Or, you know what? I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I'm just human and this stuff happens, and that's okay. Things like that. You got to really get into that and bring up your vibe. What else can bring up your vibe? Nature, go outside and walk in the grass in the sun, or bundle up and go under the sun and the snow, whatever you need to do. And breathe. Are you breathing? Try to release all that shadow work, and then try to bring your vibe up. If you can't bring your vibe up enough, then go have a session. You can have a session with someone, and it's really important. I teach my students this, to always have someone that you can trade with. So if you can always trade with someone, if you have a friend that you can barter with, that's really important. So you can go to your barter friend. I go to Gia or Missy and I say, hey, I have a little problem. Can you help? And then they help me. And then they come to me. Hey, I have a problem. Can you help? And I help them. And that way it's really great. So if you can get into your own light work, figure out what you're supposed to be doing here. And here's many reasons why I believe you should be talking to your spirit guides. That's a little bit of channeling, and that you should at least have a Reiki 1 attunement. You don't need to do all of this because you're going to go live on YouTube and go do sessions on people like I do, or teach classes. You're going to do that just to survive and get through ascension and figure out how to make your life better. Like, it's just basic stuff that you really need to know. It's very important. And so that's why I give that huge spirit guide free masterclass bundle. It's full of stuff, and I get a lot of great feedback that it really helps people, and that makes me really happy. So please take advantage of that. It's totally free, and know that you're very strong. And once you're clear and in the light and your vibration's high, there is nothing that can touch you. Okay? Your spirit guides only let you experience these things because you need to. So sometimes your vibe is high, but you still get a false spirit guide because it's a test. But know that as long as you can keep your vibe high after you release it, then you're fine. Do you know what I mean? But if you go into the drama of it, if you go into self-recrimination, like, why did I do that? Oh, how could that happen? Why was I tricked? All that stuff, then that brings you down. Then it's hard to get that vibration up. So remember that to keep your vibration up, you work through your shadow work, you learn your lessons, you don't go into the drama, you go forward. If you still don't feel good, you get a session, you feel better, right? That will help you feel better. And then you can really work on all of this. So is there any questions that I can answer about this? Someone asked, what do you do? What kind of protection would prevent that? Or what can you do to prevent that? That's what I'm saying. I don't know that you can totally prevent that. You're going to do all the things I just said to try to keep your vibration high as a regular practice. And sometimes it'll happen anyway. And so you just say, oh, this is something that I'm supposed to learn. Just like anything that happens, you always have to say, oh, this is something I was supposed to learn. That's why this is happening. It's not happening to me because I'm a victim, or shit always happens to me, or anything like that. It's like, it's happening because there's a reason. So as soon as you find out that reason of what this thing is happening, false spirit guide, entity, you lost your job, or whatever it is, if you can figure out the reason, then suddenly you have a goal, you understand there's something better coming for you, and your guides are helping you. If you can talk to your guides, that's exactly what you should do here. Guides, what do I do? You're going to talk to the guides that you know well. How do I know that my spirit guides are real? I have worked with them with a mentor in sacred spaces enough that I understand who they are. I know them. I know my main spirit guides. There are at least 5. I only had one inner band spirit guide that I ever got tricked on. My inner band spirit guides, I I know who they are. And I find it's pretty obvious when it's false. It feels weird. They're saying all that stuff, like I said before, inappropriate things, mean things. It's just not right. My spirit guide, who's a protector, for instance, my protector guide, he might say, yeah, we had a life together where we were married. Sure, maybe. But if I mention that, or if I'm like, tell people as a joke that he's good looking, then he's like, inappropriate. And of course, I'm a Sagittarius, so I am always riding that line of inappropriate things that I say. My guide isn't. He's not into that. He's like, nope, nope. And so if your guide is like encouraging that, then no. And that's how I knew it wasn't him that one time, because he was like, we were married, all this stuff. And I was like, he was like talking about that. And that was weird. He never talks about some life we had together that I barely remember. You know what I mean? He's always talking about me, my protection, where I'm going, all that important stuff. So just that's the main way, is you just get to know like what spirit guides talk about, and then it gets pretty obvious. So I did do this big give me all your questions in my live in 5D group, and this, I think I answered them all. But if anyone has any other questions, then I will answer. So Kathy said, I learned you should ask the entity if it has a message. I'm in deep in planning a trip to Costa Rica, and I got too tired and let up on my regular meditations. Yeah, we can't be perfect. Really great advice. Oh, good. Thank you. And I'm glad you liked the spirit guide class, Kathy. I hope that this was helpful to you all. If you have questions about this kind of stuff, or you want to learn how to get to these levels where you can suss out that false spirit guide in a minute and figure it out and go forward. If you want to learn how to increase your discernment, talk to your spirit guides deeply, if you want to learn how to bring forward their healing, things like that, then let me know. I'd love to help you. And here's Ashley. Hi, Ashley. I look at false guides as both tricksters and teachers. Thanks for the lesson. Yeah, that's what they are. They're just another type of entity. You're so welcome. And I just want to say, another type, because it makes me crazy, is these entities that pretend to be fae. When I hear people say, oh, the fae hate me, they're so mean to me. No, they're not. That's not it. It's like the thing where I used to believe before I was a Reiki practitioner that there was dark Reiki. And so I was like worried about that. But the truth is that just wasn't Reiki. They're just slapping the name Reiki on some dark magic that you don't want to be a part of. Same thing with light language. Like light language is always of the light. Reiki is always of the light. These things are light work. And anything that's pretending to be light that's not is just the dark pretending to be light. Doesn't mean that everything you knew is now not true. Like spirit guides aren't great, or I get really sad when I see people say, I don't want to work with my spirit guides because they tricked me and I'm so mad at them. I saw someone post that yesterday and I was like, that's so sad. She was looking for someone who can help her channel, but with no beings of light. I don't know. I thought, oh, I feel like that person just needs a healing and some help and discernment. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope you guys are keeping up with my 5D Channels and Chats podcast. I have some really great special editions that I put out this year, 14 of them, and I think you'll love them. They're like little mini tag membership like examples of what we do in tag. So they're full of attunements, and I bring forth the being with trance channeling, and they're healing, and they connect you to something, and it shows you what we do in tag, which is fun. So I hope you'll watch that. And thank you so much for coming. Okay, bye. See you later. Thank you for listening today. Please follow this podcast, like, subscribe if you haven't already. We would love to have you in our Facebook group 5D Daily. And be sure to sign up for my free Channeling Spirit Guides program, which you can find under resources at soundwavesheal.com. I am Rachel Chamness, and it's my pleasure to help Lightworkers expand their channeling to heal in higher dimensions.